Good morning and welcome to Kramer's Corner with daily technical update. It is Tuesday, the 23rd of September. This video is for educational purpose only. There's no recommendation or advice whatsoever intended. Today we'll start with having a look at Nvidia that had a very good day yesterday, testing its previous all-time highs here that you can see illustrated by this horizontal line here. So the 184.48 area has been tested several times. It spiked just above it, so I think maybe we just had a new all-time high, just slightly. Yes, actually we did, just with a few cents. So key will be here the next few days. Can it push higher? The RSI is actually indicating that since it's closed above the 60 threshold, meaning we are now back in positive sentiment. We had a little bit of warning here when it broke back above its falling trend line there, but again, you never know, and it will be key to watch out the next few days. And looking at the weekly chart, we can see, well, if it takes out what we can do, we can guesstimate how far it can then move or push higher if that scenario plays out, that it will push higher. So 192.28, 197, maybe even 200 in going into the last quarter of the year is in the cards. So a bit unusual for September month, where they usually clean house before. There's nothing cleaning house here. It seems like market is just moving higher, and Nvidia seems to be one of the stocks that the investors want to keep. So, and that was came after announcement with the week that they are investing in Intel, and they also invest a lot of money in, I mean, billions of dollars in AI. So quite interesting there. The overall index was pushed higher because of this, and also because Apple pushed higher. So we are nearing the 25,000 level on Nasdaq 100. And according to the RSI, where it has cancelled its divergence and is pushing higher, we could see that scenario play out here the next few days. The pre-markets are basically unchanged. Looking at the S&P 500, also new all-time highs, touched the 6,700 level, just almost there with a few cents to spare. And we could see that scenario being played out, that it will test it today, pushing higher there. There is divergence here on the RSI, as you can see, because the RSI was higher here than we are currently are, but it's above the falling trend line there. And for now, the trend is your friend. As long as we stay about 6,550, we will be in a bullish mode. The same picture on Dow Jones, almost new all-time highs, broken above its falling trend line there on the RSI. Still divergence, indicating we are a bit stretched, but it is indicating we could see slightly higher levels. And if we're just quickly looking at the S&P 500 pre-market, you'll see it's basically unchanged. But here on the let's see, there is actually divergence. I think that was bigger. No, it is not the same. So there is no divergence there on the US 500 CFP, but there is on the CAC index, and that is what counts. So a little bit divergence also between the indices, and we are a bit stretched after basically almost no major corrections for quite some time. On the Asian market, we have Seng sliding lower this morning. They actually tried to lift it from the get-go, but they couldn't do it. And the support here, 25,500, 25,933 could be tested, possibly dipping lower. We have the 55 moving average coming up. I think it will provide some support, and so we could see a turnaround around these levels here, just 5,900, 25,667. The Nikkei, on the other hand, pushed higher, not to a new all-time high just yet, but very close to, still holding on. And as long as we stay above, let me just add that horizontal line, 44,250. We're still in a bullish trend despite the fact that we do have some divergence on the RSI. European markets and EUROStoxx50 actually formed a top and reversal pattern here. First a bullish candle, then a kind of a shooting star-like pattern, and this doji here, and then a negative candle yesterday. It wasn't massive, but it was still there. And RSI rejected a 60 threshold, despite the fact that it's still showing positive sentiment because it was over here, above here, and it didn't close below here. So key question in the next few days will be, can it actually cancel and push above this peak up there, 5,495? If not, then we could see it sliding back lower here. Pre-market, it seems a bit unchanged. Yeah, sliding a little bit. Yeah, that's marginal. So keep an eye on that today. But it seems like really European markets are struggling, and the DAX is basically in a bearish trend. Lower low, lower high, lower low, and could push that down to 23,000 area, possibly 22,800 down here. Pre-markets slightly higher, but again, we are below all moving averages. We are below the cloud, and we are in this bearish trend and negative sentiment indicating a push lower. Whether it will take out the supports there or not, it's debatable, but at least that's where we are. It looks a little bit bleak for Europe at the moment. On the FX market, we saw that euro dollar bounced, dipped below 50% retracement of this uptrend there at 117.46, and has bounced and is currently trading around 118. Positive sentiment on the RSI indicating we are likely to see higher levels, but it's not a slam dunk, and you know, so it will be a little bit of a struggle, but we are in a bullish trend, and I think it will continue and slightly trading higher. The sterling dollar dipped and bounced yesterday from the upper part of the cloud, and could resume our trend. Positive sentiment on the RSI is telling us that, but I don't think we will get a new high here anytime soon. I mean, I could be mistaken. However, if it takes out the lows from yesterday at 134.45, then we will see a push lower below 134, possibly lower, but we could also bounce a little bit up to around 136. If I put a Fibonacci to this one here, then I have an idea where some of the levels could be. So yeah, 136.20 with the 61.8. So we could be caught in this range here for a little bit, because there seems to be a battle going on. But euro sterling pushed higher yesterday, testing this peak here. I think it will test the previous peak here, just at 87.68, and possibly taking it out. I think we will see a continued weakness of the sterling against euro in the coming days and weeks. Positive sentiment on the RSI indicating just that. The dollar yen still in this range here, so it's just boring to repeat myself, around 149 and 146.20. Dipped below, but it didn't really take it out. So again, it's the 100 and the 200 moving average that is boxing it in, basically. Euro yen still in this bullish trend here, but it is stretched. As you can see, the RSI is not as high here as it's over here, but for now we're still in a bullish trend, above 55 moving average, above the cloud. Positive sentiment on the RSI. I still think it will crawl higher to at least 175.50 area. Aussie yen sliding back slightly there. I think it will slide back to at least the 38.2 retracement and 96.88. And then I think we'll see a bounce. Positive sentiment on the RSI is indicating that we will see higher levels on Aussie yen. Sterling yen dipped to the 55 moving average, and let's remove this one. It's a little bit redundant now. To the 55 moving average, just below the 61.8 retracement here, 199.16. Still positive sentiment slightly, So it is a bit of fragile uptrend to say the least. But key support 197.85. If it takes that out, then we are in a bearish scenario. Moving on to Aussie dollar, that's trading around, excuse me, the 66 level and the 38.2 retracement. Stronger support here around 65.60. That could be tested, was very close to yesterday, but positive sentiment on the RSI, no divergence, indicating that we are likely to push higher on Aussie dollars in the coming weeks, but for now we are still in correction mode. That could take it lower. It's not unlikely that it could dip all the way down to the 61.8 retracement here at 65.25. But let's see about that. If it takes out the lows from yesterday, then I think that scenario will play out. But then we have the 55 and the 100 moving average coming up, adding some support to that level. Dollar Canada slowly bouncing higher here from, again, the 137.20 key support. I think that's the scenario we will see playing out in the next couple of days. I don't think we will have this shoulder pattern playing out. So I think we will see crawling higher towards these levels here, these peaks there, and what we can do. And this is what you can do also with the Fibonacci. You can work a little bit. We'll see now we are trading around the 61.8 retracement of that bearish move. But RSI testing its falling trend line. If it closes above and breaks above it and is basically closing back above 60 threshold, well, then we are likely to see higher levels towards 139.5, possibly 140. No divergence on the RSI, actually indicating likely higher levels. Sterling Canada, the strong bounce that it did from the 55 and the 100 moving average there, and just above the cloud. And I think it will bounce further in coming days. Still positive sentiment on the RSI, indicating that it will do just that. But then we have strong resistance up in the area around 188, 30, 40 area here. And that could be a bit of a struggle to take that out. On the Swiss franc, well, again, yesterday, as we talked about yesterday, quite volatile, dip below the support area there, testing the falling trend line, testing the lower part of cloud, testing 100 and the 55 moving average. So maybe it's just a question of time before it really makes a break lower, and then move to towards 92.65 area, or that it has a push up here, but it needs to take out 94. That is really a key area. You see 200 moving average also giving it a hard time up here. We saw last time it would reject it. So still undecided at the moment on Euro Swiss. Dollar Swiss resuming downtrend, it seems, spiked a little bit above the 38.2 retracement, and I think it will slightly lower. And of course, we have talked about it since the RSI is still in a negative sentiment. There's no divergence, indicating likely lower levels. So we could see it pushing lower towards the previous lows there. And that, if we're looking at the weekly chart just very quickly, we can see we have to go really far back to see levels like that, and we are 77.80, and that's really far back, as you can see. The dollar index, more or less the same picture as the dollar Swiss. Medium term, there's room down to around 95 if it takes out the lows here at 96, 95.85 that it dipped to. You see it got rejected there, right there at the 38.2 retracement. So still in a bearish trend, no divergence on the RSI, indicating likely lower levels. Moving on to gold. Very strong move the past few days, continuing this morning. It seems we do have a little bit of divergence here. And let me remove this one here and add this horizontal line, and we can see it's slightly divergence there. However, there is room higher to 3,800. And let's zoom in on the weekly chart, because it's actually, there we are. again, let's talk about this triangle pattern that I've been talking about for quite some time. So 100% extension of from the top to the bottom added to the breakout price is around 3,800. Also, what is around 3,800, actually 3,790, is the projection where we just simply takes the Fibonacci projection from the top to the bottom of this triangle and then project it higher, 3,790, which is the 1764 projection. So 3,800 seems to be really in the cards, and it could be reached in a few days. There is a divergence on the RSI slightly, and it is stretched, but for now, I trust the trend, and it seems fairly strong as long as we stay about 3,613. Silver also pushed higher yesterday, pausing it. You can see now we are very close to this level there. That has not been seen since, I think, when was it, 2011. This there 44 and a quarter, and I think we will see it being reached, possibly also taking out, but you can see it's a little bit stretched there short term. Platinum, on the other hand, can't really keep up with the oil markets, trying to catch up here now, but it needs to take out 1447 and a change to really establish that bullish trend. I think, or re-establish that bullish trend, because we are actually high, low, high, so on. Positive sentiment on the RSI, indicating it will play out, but there's no guarantee, so let's see about that. Copper, well, still slowly humming away in this slightly rising trend line here, or trend channel here, pushing higher, and we can try to draw a support line there. That's where we have it. There is potential higher, but as we can see, there's still negative sentiment on the RSI. So I think if it takes out 457, we could have a reversal of the trend, and especially if it moves below 452 or closes below that level. On the energy market, crude oil is sliding slowly lower, and I think we will see it down to around $60 here. Possibly fairly soon. It could be this week, could be next week, but I think we will see that, and you can see market is it's basically, we are in a bearish trend slightly. I mean, there's lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, and lower highs, and possibly new lower low there. Brent crude oil, more or less the same picture. I mean, in the big picture here, we are basically range bound. $65 is the key support. If it takes it out, 62.55. European nat gas, and let's zoom in a bit here, and so there we are. So it was rejected up there. It's forming what appears to be a triangle-like pattern, but key support here at 31.60. There's some support, but and then again down here at 31. Resistance at 33.44, and really key strong one at 33.90. For now, it's testing the lower rising trend line there, and we have negative sentiment on the RSI, so it seems like this is the way we are headed, and we are below the 55 moving average. You can see it giving it's also some resistance there, so it seems to be to the downside. European nat gas, sorry, US nat gas, sold off yesterday. Took out the support there, 286, pushing lower, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's back to test the lows here at the 262. But first step is, of course, the 786 retracement at 274. But yeah, bearish trend for now. Negative sentiment on the RSI got rejected at the 60 threshold several times. On the interest rate and yields market here, we have the US 10-year Treasury yields that is pushing higher. I still believe we could see it up to 420. There is this possibility up to resistance and the 61.8 retracement here. However, if it slides back below 410, maybe then we will see another push towards 4%. But for now, I still favor the upside to some extent. The Moving on to the European yields, we have the EU 10-year almost hitting the 786 retracement there at 276. Didn't do it, can still do it, but you can see it's RSI got rejected, well, actually below the 60 threshold, but we are in a bounce. I think we will see a testing, but in the bigger picture, we're a little bit of rings bound there. The UK, not really doing much here, around 470, 472, also in bouncing mode. I still think we'll see it bouncing higher towards 475, and maybe that's it. But let's see how that will play out. Japanese 10-year, well, pushed higher there yesterday, and today slightly higher here, but then it slided back to test the or trading around the 165. Still positive sentiment on the R side. We are still in a bullish trend, as you can see, and I think it will push higher in the coming days and weeks. Finally, on cryptos, we have the Bitcoin trading around on just a few cents from the 61.8 retracement of this bullish move there. Could bounce from it, and let's just remove that one down there. That is a little bit obsolete now. There we are. Slightly positive undertone, but not that significant, and it is struggling. If it can bounce, then we could see it push back to 118,000, but I'm not quite so sure about it. I wouldn't be surprised to see it dipping lower towards 109,550. Ethereum yesterday tested key support here at 4,060 and then bounce, so keep an eye on this. This is really what is the key support. All right, that's all for today. Have a nice day and talk to you again tomorrow.